Hello and welcome to the next tutorial on the Kurzweil Forte stage piano, workstation or synthesizer. Today, by request, we will look upon the sequencer, the so-called song mode. You find song mode in global mode, song, and you see we have just a new song loaded, which is completely empty. So first, let's have a look at the pages. Those are buttons actually, record, play, stop, and the main page, which is this. We have the mixer, miscellaneous setups, a MIDI filter, the effects like in multi-mode, track functions where you can erase, copy, bounce, insert, and on and on. A lot of actions you can do to tracks. Event, which shows you the event, the MIDI events actually, in a kind of piano roll. Delete, to delete the song, and the help page. We see the help page. So FEF 2, 3 and 4 is record, play and stop in any screen. FEF 5 is change numbers of bars in event view. So let's try this. Now we have 4 bars or 2 bars. FEF 6 is jump to songs for different drum styles. And FEF 9 is new song. FEF 10 is the help page, as always. Okay, so let's go back to the main page. We have a completely empty song, new song. You see the tempo here. And what you see on the main page is the currently selected record track, which is track 1. You see the program, which is loaded on track 1, the volume, the pan. You see the location of the locator right now, the song end and the timeout for the loop, for example. So what you see here is the overdub mode. So if you overdub, record overdub, then you can either merge the old MIDI notes and MIDI CCs, MIDI values with the new you're just entering in, or you erase. So that means all the old MIDI events get wiped out and only the new ones are stored when you record. We have the loop on now, the metronome, that means the metronome is on only on record. It's always, or it's just off, no metronome. We want it at record. Effects track is like in multi-mode. Go back to the effects. It's now on channel 1 and it takes this effects. You have the time signature here. We leave it at 4/4. The next page is the mixer page. You see all the tracks. Switch it to the other 8 here. And you can change the panning, which is reflected graphically, the volume, the actual program, the output, A or B, and the destination, local, MIDI, USB, and so on. The next page is the misc page. There are several options. The metronome is interesting, so also here you can set it to off, to count off only, to rec, or to always. We wanted it record. Can have more bars of count off. You can set up the program, which will be taken for the metronome. The channel, so channel 16 is the metronome channel. The strong note, the soft note, and the velocity. Also on this page you see the events, how many events you have used and how many events you have left. You have the swing and quantize options, the grid for the quantize, and so on. Next page is the filter page. You can filter out during record or during playback various kinds of MIDI CCs, MIDI messages, if you like it. So if you need it, if you send it out and you want to just filter a specific message, you can do it here. The effects page, like in multi-mode, so you can set up the aux effects here, enable or disable the insert effects of the programs, and send them to your aux. Also here, the override and the mod override apply. The next is the track. In track, you see here song track functions. You can do a lot of things with tracks. So, for example, you can erase, you can copy things, you can bounce, which means you can bounce it to another track, insert, and so on. A lot of options. And quantize, of course. Here, it's quantize options. You can set up a range, so from bar 1 to 5, which would mean the whole song, but you can set up the range as you want. What you want to erase, notes, controllers, monopress, and the key range actually, and the velocity range actually. So this applies to all functions. You have the from and to, so where in the song you want to do the track function, what events, key range, velocity range, and so on. One important thing at the track functions, you see here on the top right corner, track 1. So this erase is meant to be on track 1. You can switch the tracks here. And at some functions, for example insert, where you insert bars, it's for all tracks. So not for an individual track. This applies to delete as well. So take a look always, is it on all tracks or just on a single track? So delete is for all tracks. You want to use erase for a single track. One more thing you have to keep in mind is that the track functions have no undo. If you push the go, you're gone. So before you do a track function, I would recommend to store it. So let's store it to a new song and then do the track function. If you did something wrong, go back to the main page and just reload the song. And you are where you were before the track function. Okay, the next is the event. Let's record before. So we have this piano and we have 4 bars. Let's do something. We have the count in of 1 bar. If you record something, it will prompt you if you want to save the song or not. You can play the old, there is nothing. You can play the new, compare it. You can stop. You can retry, which means retry the recording, or save it or no. So if you want to keep it, save it. Now we can have a look at the event. You see all these events here. Let's play it with F3. With F5. You can switch through all the events here. You see it here in a piano roll and you can edit it in various kinds of ways. You see the position here, the bar, and so on. Very nice. It's a real upgrade. And that's not all. You can cut events, copy events, paste events, and make a new event. And you can filter what you see here. So actually what you see on the list. So if we leave out the notes. You only say to sustain control changes. You can activate or deactivate a lot of MIDI CCs here. So we have the piano now. Let's add a bass. Why not? An upright bass. We push record and play the count in. We save it. Let's add a guitar. Pooh, what a coincidence. No. Save it. Let's add some drums now. On track 10, traditionally, a brush kit. Let's now record in overdub. So we just start with the hi-hat, then with the bass and the snare, not at the same time, but in overdub. Save it. Yes. Now, when listening to it, I really think the cymbal is too harsh. Let's have a listen. That's too much. So let's go to the event, and you see all the events. The first one is this cymbal. We can filter it. Enter. And now we only have this note here. And let's remap it. Look at the piano roll. And it vanishes off. Vanishes of the list because it's filtered immediately. I got a few mono pressures here, which you could filter out on the filter page, and that's it. Let's have a listen. Yes. That's how you use the event page, for example. Let's now go to the mixer. Let's have a listen. To balance the volumes, let's now add a lead and just play. in my opinion, it's been a really good update. It has the event with this piano roll here, switchable here. You got the mixer, which is quite cool graphically here. And you can record your ideas or something to practice with quite quickly and quite easy actually. So that's all for the sequencer now. I hope you liked it. See you next time for the next tutorial on the Kurzweil Forte. Bye!